discuss the previous year questions of the various subjects. Today we'll focus on Indian economy. So we'll be discussing the previous year questions that have come in the prelims. Now, typically we're going to discuss from 2011 to 2019. So past 9-10 years questions are more relevant. And let's discuss these questions. And I have taken these questions topic wise. Mostly students do year wise, but you can revise, the topics, and then you can attempt these questions along with solutions. तो देखते हैं इसमें क्या क्या questions हैं. So now I have also done a breakup for prelims topic wise analysis. Now these are the different topics that come in the economics from year 2011 to 2019. So let's take each one by one, and the detailed solution will also be discussed. So question number one. Now this question came in 2019. Consider the following statements. Purchasing power parity exchange rates are calculated by comparing the prices of the same basket of goods and services in different countries. Okay, so what exactly is purchasing power parity? Now we all know that purchasing power parity is a basic concept which so USA's GDP is 20 trillion. Okay, that this is USA, and India is, let's say, 3 trillion. Okay, though it is little less. Now how do you compare? Now it looks like India's GDP is very small. That is true also, and USA's GDP is almost 6 point something or almost 7 times. So USA की GDP almost 7 times बड़ी है. Now what is the but remember, when you calculate the GDP is the national income which is calculated based on the price into quantity. Okay, तो जो भी इकोनॉमी में items होते हैं, number of items into price, and we take total of that, we take sum of that, okay, for the entire economy. Now here in India's GDP the prices will be in India, and of course the quantity will also be in India. Now remember, the price in India and US might vary for the same services or goods. कोई अगर इंडिया में सर्विस है, वो might be in 10 rupees or 100 rupees. The same service in USA might be charging maybe 3 times or 4 times. So it is on monetary terms में the comparison is not right. Direct हम comparison करना is not right, and that is why what we do, we try to compare the items and their prices in the respective economies. So it measures the exchange rates calculated by comparing the prices of the same basket of goods and services. तो मान लीजिए एक हमने basket ले लिया of goods and services. Okay, so there are only one good and one service, let's say. So let's say one good is education and one is like food, कोई item हो, मान लीजिए wheat. Okay, so there's one good and there's one service. Now what is the cost of 1 kg of in India, and what is the cost in US? Similarly, what is the cost of university education average in India and average in US? तो दोनों का हम लेंगे total and then we'll compare. What we find here is that in USA the average item is probably 3 times or 4 times costlier than in India, which means ये जो 3 trillion है, that should be multiplied by that number जिसके equivalent USA में चीजें महंगी हैं. So that kind of tells you about. So we purchasing power parity में हम लोग compare करते हैं. In India is number 3 in the world in terms of purchasing power parity. यहाँ पे 6 है, तो statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So the option here is A. So you can see the detailed analysis. PPP is a theory which states exchange rates between the currencies are in equilibrium when their purchasing power is the same in the two of each countries. Now exchange rate between two countries should be equal to the ratio of the two countries price level of the first basket of goods and services. तो जो भी items हम इंडिया में purchase कर रहे हैं, same items we'll see in USA. Now in USA average cost of the same item शायद 3 गुना या 4 times will be there, or almost 3 to 4 times would be there. So we will multiply India's GDP by that number. तो हमारा GDP 3 trillion के अलावा maybe it will come around 9 trillion, you can say. So GDP purchasing power parity would be somewhere like this. Now when we comparing with USA का same रहेगा because हम USA को base ले रहे हैं. So that is how it is. In PV basis, China is the largest economy in the world, followed by USA and India. So first A is the right answer. Now question number 2. This question came in 2018. Increase in absolute and per capita real GNP do not connote higher level economic development. Now GDP is the national income or GNP is the national income. दोनों को हम लोग national income बोलते हैं. And national income connotes, that means if we, in a very simpler terms we can say, if we add income of everybody, सारे population में सबकी population की सबकी income अगर add कर देंगे, so that will come to, if we add the total income of the all population, so this will, what will come, GDP or GNP. But imagine करिए, now India is 3 trillion GDP, that is of 130 crore population or 135 crore population. बट अगर इफ हम इनका एवरेज, इफ यू डिवाइड, वी गेट पर कैपिटा इनकम, इफ यू डिवाइड दिस बाय 135 करोड़, हमको पर कैपिटा इनकम मिल जाता है, व्हिच समवेयर अराउंड इज, लेट्स से $2000, $2100 के आसपास होगा. बट इमेजिन नाउ हियर per capita is an average income, which means if you try to understand for the entire economy, हो सकता है there are, let's say for example around 29% people are below poverty line as per Rangarajan committee, 22% people are below poverty line as per Tendulkar committee. तो अगर हम देखेंगे, so these people are earning very less in comparison to other other people. So what I want to mention here is that by calculating average income or per capita income, higher level of economic development हम नहीं कह सकते हैं, because economic development is much more holistic terms. It talks about not only income, it talks about level of education, healthcare, average income, prosperity. So here we can say that absolute per capita income जो है बढ़ा होगा, does not mean the economic development might have happened. Why? Because in statement 3 अगर हम देखते हैं, poverty, unemployment, these could be other indicators. So we have multiple indicators to measure economic development. One could be income, other could be health, third could be education, fourth could be level of poverty levels in the economy, fifth could be what kind of assets people have in the economy. So there could be multiple indicators हो सकते हैं. So here we can say average per capita income अगर बढ़ेगा, तो what if there are 100 people in the country, उसमें 10 लोग का income बहुत बढ़ गया and rest 90 का income कम बढ़ा या नहीं बढ़ा. So here average, so per capita income will go up, but the beneficiaries are only maybe certain section of the population. So option here is C. So the fruits of development, how they reach, is what we have to understand. So concept of per capita income will not be able to capture it, and that is why we understand other measures, that is multidimensional and social indicators को भी हम देखते हैं. So we can say if the poverty and unemployment has increased, इसका मतलब ये है that economic development has not happened. Question number 3. Despite being a high saving economy, capital formation may not result in significant increase in output due to, okay, so high saving economy. Now saving rate is very high in the economy. So there is a concept of saving which is invested in the economy. So ये जो saving होता है, ये investment होता है, and the cycle of saving investment goes on. Now here there are options. That means saving तो ज्यादा है, but capital formation is not happening in the country. Maybe due to weak administrative machinery. Well, we cannot say, because if I talk about capital formation, that is mainly done by the private institutions. Government का भी role होता है. Illiteracy, okay, cannot say. High population density, again high saving हो रही है, means average saving is going up. Now question is output is not going up. So what is the concept here? And that is where we can, एक हम लोग देखते हैं capital output ratio. So we measure concept of capital output ratio in economy. क्या होता है ये? Let's understand. So let's say we have a investment rate of 32%. So this is the investment rate. Now this is a saving, I would say, and the saving भी इतना ही है. So 32% of GDP is the investment rate, and here we attain 8% of economic growth. तो हमारा जो GDP growth होता है वो इतना हम जब इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो 8% होता है. Now here capital output ratio would be 32/8, which means 4. Which means for every one unit of output, we have to invest 4 units of investment. So the point I want to make here is that if there is a high capital output ratio, which means for every one extra output, I have to invest more. So that is not is not good for the economy. कहने का मतलब saving ज्यादा भी है, you are adding to the economy by investing more. अगर हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट जो हो रहा है उसके consummate level पे अगर आपको देखो कि डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, फॉर एग्जांपल if I say that growth is 8% के जगह 10% है, so out of 32% of हम जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो 10% ग्रोथ मिल रहा है. So I would say here this is a good scenario, but in case of here 8% it is not. So we can say here the question says despite being high saving economy, capital formation may not result in significant increase in output due to high capital output ratio. So high capital output ratio जब होता है, so more capital is put for every unit of output, and that what explains the question number 3. बाकी जो तीनों options हैं, they are not so they might also make sense, but they're not directly correlated, and that is where statement 4 is more correct. So here, if capital output ratio is high, there will not be significant increase in output despite having high savings and investment. Question number 4 पे जाते हैं. Now question number 4 is again related to GDP. The rate of growth of real GDP has steadily increased in last 1 decade. So what is real GDP? So GDP can be two types. One could be nominal, other could be real GDP. Now real GDP, which means we calculate GDP at constant price into quantity. ये जो कांस्टेंट प्राइस होता है, दिस इज एट द सम बेस ईयर, हम कुछ बेस ईयर पे लेते हैं, दैट इज रियल जीडीपी. फॉर एग्जांपल राइट नाउ द बेस ईयर 2011-12 फॉर इंडियाज जीडीपी, so we'll take price of 2011-12, quantity of today 2020, so that is how we calculate real GDP. Nominal GDP is a GDP which is calculated at market price, यानी आज का क्वांटिटी और आज का प्राइस. so no difference of both of them is inflation. दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस आता है? इन्फ्लेशन का ही डिफरेंस आता है. ओके, सो नॉमिनल जीडीपी इंक्लूड्स इन्फ्लेशन, इसमें इन्फ्लेशन रहता है, and because you are talking about current market price, and real GDP does not have inflation because you're taking at base price which is at original level, यानी वहां inflation का counting नहीं हो रहा है. Coming here, now here we talking about rate of GDP of real GDP growth, यानी हमारी real GDP. So in economy we measure real GDP growth only, has steadily increased in last decade. Now 2015 की हम बात कर रहे हैं. Now let's comparison. India's economy में हम लोग GDP जो measure करते हैं वो रियल जीडीपी को ही हम लोग मेजर करते हैं. सो लास्ट ईयर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ वाज 5%, दैट वाज रियल जीडीपी. सिमिलरली इसमें हम नॉमिनल जीडीपी ग्रोथ भी होता है, प्रोबब्ली दैट वुड बी अराउंड 9% और 10%. सो उससे पहले इट वाज 6.8% रियल जीडीपी. सो रियल जीडीपी इज द राइट मेजर. नाउ लेट्स सी लास्ट वन डेकेड. 2015 में सवाल आया था. नाउ इफ आई टॉक अबाउट 2005 to 2015, so can we say that growth rate has steadily increased in last one decade? No. Why? Because एक इसमें बीच में एक पीरियड आया था 2008-9 का, where there was global crisis, global financial crisis आया था, and the growth came down. So statement 1 is not correct. Okay, because जो rate of growth है वो बीच में came down, which means it has not steadily increased in last one decade. Statement 2, the GDP at market price in rupees has steadily increased in last decade. अगर हम बात करते हैं GDP at market price, now here we were calculating GDP in terms of growth, हम लोग परसेंटेज की बात कर रहे थे. Now here in this question statement 2 we are talking about market price. Now naturally if I say in the last 10 year period 2005 से लेकर 2015 तक, because this question is about 2015, तो अगर हम ये लास्ट 10 ईयर का डेटा अगर हम मेजर करते हैं देखते हैं, सो व्हाट वी सी, जीडीपी देयर हैज बीन एन एवरेज ग्रोथ इन जीडीपी एवरी ईयर. ग्रोथ हो रहा है, द ग्रोथ माइट फ्लक्चुएट. फॉर एग्जांपल ग्रोथ समवेयर मे बी एवरेज ग्रोथ वाज मे बी 1 ईयर वाज 5 में शायद 9% होगा, देन 8%, 9%, देन इन by the time 14-15 it came down to 4%, now 4 or 5 to 5%. now in the entire period अगर हम देखेंगे तो growth has always been positive, it has not been negative, which means जो हमारे जीडीपी मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में है, बिकॉज हियर वी टॉक अबाउट जीडीपी एट मार्केट प्राइस इन रुपीज, सो हम लोग जीडीपी जो हम लोग नॉमिनल जीडीपी निकाल रहे हैं रुपी के टर्म्स में, वो तो बढ़ ही रहा है. सो वी कैन से हियर इज दैट स्टेटमेंट 2 इज करेक्ट. ओके, तो ये तो बढ़ा है मॉनेटरी वाइज जो है बढ़ा है, बट स्टेटमेंट 1 इज इनकरेक्ट. सो ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ रियल जीडीपी हैज फ्लक्चुएटेड ड्यू टू ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस, तो यहाँ डिक्लाइन था. एट मार्केट प्राइस इट हैज ऑलवेज इंक्रीज बिकॉज देयर वाज नो डिक्लाइनिंग ट्रेंड, ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव था. इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रोथ रेट चेंज हो रहा था, देखो ग्रोथ रेट में स्टडीली ग्रोथ नहीं हो रही थी, ग्रोथ रेट 5, 7, 8, देन इट केम डाउन टू 5, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ नंबर्स वो हमेशा नंबर्स, अगर आज जीडीपी 100 लाख करोड़ की है तो नेक्स्ट ईयर इट इज 105 लाख करोड़, अदर ईयर इज 115 लाख करोड़, लाइक दैट. सो द नंबर इज इंक्रीजिंग. यहाँ पे नेगेटिव मतलब कि पिछले साल से कंपैरिजन में जीडीपी कम नहीं हो रहा है, इट इज ऑलवेज इन ग्रोइंग. जब वो कम होता है देन दैट इज रिसेशन. ओके, दैट इज रिसेशन हो जाता है. So here statement 2 is correct. Decrease in tax GDP ratio in the country indicates which of the following? Slowing economic, yani tax to GDP ratio. Okay, what is tax GDP ratio? it signifies, so India में tax GDP ratio is around 12%, ठीक है. So decrease in tax GDP ratio indicates which of the following. Now हमारा जो tax to GDP ratio है पिछले कुछ टाइम में थोड़ा कम हुआ है, okay, last in past 2-3 years overall tax GDP ratio थोड़ा कम हुआ है. Now it indicates slowing economic growth rate. Well, हम लोग ये कह सकते हैं अगर ये स्लो हो रहा है ओवरऑल, if this is getting slowing, which means either GDP is growing slow or tax is growing slow. Okay, ये भी हो सकता है GDP is growing and tax collection is less. The second could be tax is okay but GDP is less. So again it depends. So we cannot come to a definite conclusion that when there is a slowing economic growth rate, the decrease in it will indicate, यानी अगर ये कम हो रहा है इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि there is a slow economic growth. स्लो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ हो रहा है ऐसा हम नहीं कह सकते हैं. तो डिक्रीज इन टैक्स जीडीपी रेशियो इन द कंट्री इंडिकेट्स व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग, स्लो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ रेट, नॉट नेसेसरली, क्योंकि ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि ये तो कम हो रहा है बट जीडीपी बढ़ रही है, मे बी गवर्नमेंट हैज रिड्यूस्ड द टैक्स रेट, गवर्नमेंट टैक्स रेट कम भी कर सकती है. सो इन दैट सिचुएशन टैक्स जीडीपी रेशियो, इवन दो जीडीपी इज ग्रोइंग, द टैक्स rates have come down, so tax GDP ratio will also come down. Okay, so one statement one, we cannot assume for sure because उसमें multiple scenario हो सकते हैं. तो tax GDP ratio decrease, either tax collection should decrease or GDP should increase. Now considering the first statement, GDP collection might or might not necessarily increase with slow growth rate. तो GDP collection or tax collection might not necessarily increase with slow growth rate. तो ये हम कह सकते हैं. तो option can be ruled out. स्टेटमेंट 2 की बात करते हैं, लेस इक्विटेबल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ नेशनल इनकम. नाउ नेशनल इनकम, नाउ अगेन टैक्स जीडीपी रेशियो कम हो रहा है. नाउ हियर अगेन टैक्सेस कैन बी ऑफ टू टाइप्स, डायरेक्ट टैक्स एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. देखते हैं इसको. नाउ टिपिकली इन एनी इकोनॉमी, इफ देयर इज अ हाई इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स अगर ज्यादा बढ़ रहा है, सो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स इज इक्वली इम्पोज्ड ऑन एवरीबॉडी. ठीक है. So if indirect tax is increasing, which means what? Which means that maybe poor के ऊपर ज्यादा लोड पड़ रहा है. Why? Because rich and poor, everybody is paying the same indirect tax, and but a poor person is paying more tax in proportion to his or her income. So we can say that when there is a decrease in tax GDP ratio, there has been less equitable distribution of income. We can, तो स्टेटमेंट यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं कि इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स अगर बढ़ता है तो हम कह सकते हैं there is a less equitable distribution of income, but that cannot be said about the direct tax. Okay, so अगर स्टेटमेंट 2 देखते हैं, increase in indirect tax collection may lead to less equality but cannot be said for the increase in direct tax collection, because direct tax collection में चीजें अलग हो जाती हैं. What exactly happens in direct tax collection? Direct tax collection is progressive in nature. So somebody who is earning more will pay more, earn more, pay more. Okay, what if government increases tax, what if government decreases tax? So again we cannot say that if tax GDP ratio is going down, which means there's a lesser equitable distribution of national income. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि इसका opposite scenario भी हो सकता है. That option can also be. So if you make the permutation combination, आपको समझ में आएगा. तो statement 1 and statement 2 both cannot clearly जो है वो statement दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है option में. So answer here will be D. So you can read it properly here. Increase in indirect tax collection may lead to less equality in income distribution, but same cannot said. So this option will also be ruled out. Okay. So that is now going to question number 6. If interest rate is decrease in the economy, it will happen what? Yani interest rate कम हो रहा है. Now let's assume, so bank will reduce their interest rate. Now loan rate was 10%, they reduce it to 8%. So what will happen? More people will take loan. Okay, ज्यादा लोग लोन लेंगे. So more people will take loan, which means there will be increase in the investment in the economy. अभी कोविड क्राइसिस चल रहा है. What is happening? Interest rates, government or RBI is trying to taking a lot of measures through their monetary policy tools to reduce the interest rate ताकि loaning easy हो जाए. So when interest rate is decreased in the economy, there is an increase in the investment expenditure in the economy. तो investment economy बढ़ जाता है. Now interest rate has no collection, tax collection से हम direct यहाँ पे assumption नहीं कर सकते हैं. The interest rate is decreased in the economy, it will decrease the consumption expenditure. In fact, उल्टा होता है, interest rate is decreased, which means investment will increase. It also shows that there is a more consumption in the economy. So okay, so if interest rate is decreased, there is a total increase saving नहीं, saving less हो जाती है. Why? Because आपको जो बैंक से interest मिलता है वो आपको कम मिलता है. Let's say you have an FD in the bank, and if the interest rate decreases, so your interest on the FD will also come down. बट इट इज वेरी इजी फॉर पीपल हु आर द बोरोवर्स, जो बैंक से बोरो कर रहे हैं उनके लिए अच्छा हो जाता है, बिकॉज दे हैव मोर, they can get easily money from the bank and hence they can invest in the economy. So if the interest rate is decreased in the economy, it will increase the investment expenditure in the economy. यानी interest rate कम होगा तो investment बढ़ जाएगा, okay, because there is more capital available in the economy. So option क्या हो जाएगा आंसर इसका? C. Question number 7. Economic growth of a country X will necessarily have to occur. एक कंट्री एक्स में इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ अगर नेसेसरली होगी कब? व्हेन देयर इज अ टेक्निकल प्रोग्रेस इन द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी. नाउ वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी, दैट मींस देयर इज नो डायरेक्ट कोरिलेशन विद इंडियाज इकोनॉमी और कंट्री एक्स इकोनॉमी. Volume of trade goes in the world economy. Now here both the A and D option are leading with the world economy. So can we say that we are talking about country X, but if the phenomena is happening in the world economy, can we say that it will impact the country X economy? No, we cannot come to the conclusion. So a statement A and D will automatically be eliminated. ये तो बाहर हो जाएंगे. Now coming to economic growth in country X will necessarily have to occur if there is a population growth in the country. अगर population growth होता है, now we assume that if there is a population growth in the country, so this population growth will add to the economy, ऐसा हम assume कर सकते हैं. Okay, what if the population is unproductive or less productive? What if the population is illiterate? What if the population is less skilled? So then maybe economic growth will not happen. They might become burden. What if country वहां पे जॉब जनरेट नहीं हो रही है, so then in that situation also those people will be idleness and unemployment जो है बढ़ेगा. So we cannot say that when economic growth will happen, only economic growth will necessarily happen if the population growth is happening, because in 1950 से 1980 के पीरियड में हमारा जो पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ था बहुत तेजी से हुआ, बट हियर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ वाज स्लो. बट आफ्टर 1980 द इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ इंक्रीज even though the population growth was less. Why? Because we invested in the economy, we were able to maybe use economy in a better way. So statement 2 cannot be said true. It can happen but not necessarily. Statement 3, there is a capital formation in country X. Now what is capital formation? When capital formation का मतलब यही है, the basic premise of economic growth is capital formation happening in the country. So this is a direct correlation. When the economic growth will happen, which means there is a capital formation happening in the economy. So statement C is automatically there. Capital formation in the country will lead to growth. जब capital formation हो रहा है, GDP growth हो रहा है, मतलब capital formation हो रहा है, because GDP is about monetary terms. Okay, so capital is growing, which means GDP is also growing. So population statement, other statements are not so correct. Statement C is the most apt option here. Question number 8. The national income of a country for a given period is equal to national income. National income क्या है? National income is GDP or GNP, and here we're talking about nationals of the country. What do we add? Total of what? Goods and services. Total of goods and services. In fact, total of final goods and services in 1 year. तो ये हमारा national income हो गया. Let's understand this. So this is national income. Which option is closest of this explanation? Total value of goods and service produced by the nationals. तो यहाँ nationals है, okay. So here there are nationals, which means nationals means people of the country, they are involved. Total value of goods and service ये भी है. Final इसमें mention नहीं है. This looks like a close option. Let's go. Sum of the total consumption, total investment. नहीं. GDP अगर आप देखते हो तो consumption plus investment plus government plus x minus m, ये फॉर्मूला होता है. ठीक है, इफ यू कैलकुलेट जीडीपी बाई एक्सपेंडिचर मेथड, तो यहाँ पे कंजम्पशन काउंट हो रहा है, इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंट हो रहा है, बट गवर्नमेंट एंड एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट काउंट नहीं हो रहा है. सो दिस इज इनकरेक्ट. सम ऑफ द पर्सनल इनकम ऑफ ऑल इंडिविजुअल्स. पर्सनल इनकम, नेशनल इनकम, पर्सनल इनकम में नेशनल इनकम पर्सनल इनकम के में आने में बीच में टैक्स और ये सारे एस्पेक्ट भी आ जाते हैं. दिस ऑप्शन इज ऑल्सो रूल्ड आउट. ओके. मनी वैल्यू ऑफ ऑल फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विस प्रोड्यूस्ड. ऑल फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विस, ऑल नहीं है, यहाँ पे फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज है, नेशनल्स की बात नहीं हो रही है. तो स्टेटमेंट ए इज मोस्ट एप्ट हियर बिकॉज इट टॉक्स अबाउट नेशनल इनकम. यहाँ पे नेशनल्स की बात हो रही है, तो ऑप्शन हियर इज ए. लेकिन यहाँ पर डी से भी कंफ्यूजन कई लोगों को हुआ था. सम पीपल मेड दिस मिस्टेक, बट इट इज नॉट क्लियर इंटायरली. बट यस, ऑप्शन ए को देखते ही आपको ज्यादा समझ में आएगा कि दिस ऑप्शन लुक्स मोर क्लोजर देन अदर ऑप्शंस. कमिंग टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. In context of Indian economy, consider the following statement. Growth rate of GDP has steadily increased in last 5 years. 11 में था. Last 5 years of growth rate has steadily increased. Okay. Now here again the option is again same problem. यहाँ देखते हैं growth rate steadily increase हुआ है क्या, देखिए steadily in fact fluctuation है. Okay, so statement one is incorrect. एक time growth rate आपका growth rate 13.9 16 point, तो यहाँ बढ़ा, then it came down. Okay, so it was fluctuating because we are यहाँ पे हम लोग GDP at current market price देख रहे हैं. ठीक है, growth rate in per capita income has steadily increased in, अच्छा per capita income is increasing, the income is increasing but growth rate बढ़ रहा है. लास्ट ईयर ग्रोथ रेट 5%, नेक्स्ट ईयर इट इज 6%, अदर इज 7%, देन 8%. ये स्टेटमेंट, ये कोरिलेशन इज नॉट हैपनिंग. द इनकम इज ग्रोइंग एवरी ईयर मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ परसेंटेज इट इज नॉट हैपनिंग. सो हियर अगेन इफ यू ट्राई टू सी हियर, अगर आप देखोगे सो ग्रोथ इज हैपनिंग ऑल द टाइम. ओके, बट द परसेंटेज ग्रोथ अगर हम यहाँ देखेंगे तो यहाँ जो परसेंटेज ग्रोथ था उसका परसेंटेज ग्रोथ यहाँ पे डिफरेंस आपका नंबर आएगा. एंड हियर यू कैन नॉट शो अ कंसिस्टेंट ट्रेंड कि इट इज ऑलवेज इंक्रीजिंग. तो स्टेटमेंट 2 भी जो है वो इनकरेक्ट है. तो आंसर क्या हो गया इसमें, डी. सो नाइन्थ विल बी डी. क्वेश्चन नंबर 10, which of the following will ensure or which aid in furthering of the inclusive growth? What is growth? Growth is the capital formation in the country, the GDP growth in the country, the income growth in the country. But when the benefits of growth, reaches the masses, so we say inclusive growth. Inclusive growth, the last person society should be getting the benefit of growth. Can we, how do we do it? Let's see. Promoting self-help groups. Self-help groups helps in empowerment of the below poverty line people, employment generation. So this definitely will aid in poverty elevation. So inclusive growth will happen. Promoting MSME. Now MSME is highly labor absorbing sector, which means it will create jobs. It will create job, which means economic growth is happening, and inclusion is also there because people are getting good jobs as well. Implementing right to education. When you are implementing right to education, you are investing in the human capital of the population, and this will be more productive in future. So again we can say that inclusive growth is happening. So human development is very important. Human is the center of the development. So option 1, 2 and 3 all will be considered as a inclusive growth. That is, D is the right answer. Okay, so that completes this question. Thank you very much for your time and patience.